Yo, welcome to my channel. Let me get straight into the point. My name is Larry, and I think PvP in WoW is terrible right now, man. Terrible. But it really isn't WoW's fault. Let's just pretend for a second that Blizzard decided to give the rewards the way it should be, so that rewards isn't the reason that PvP sucks the ass that it does. What's the real reason then, right? What's the real reason? People would like to say balancing. Ooh, balancing. Oh, okay. Except you're only slightly right about that. It isn't just balancing, dude. It's not just balancing. It's how the game is balanced, and then how it is that we decide to try and implement changes to the game for fun. Okay, let me get into this. Let me get a little bit more into this. What do we have in PvP right now? What do we have? We have 3v3. Great. That's fucking great. We have 2v2. Joke. What a joke. We have 10v10. Joke. I cannot believe people think 10v10 is a real thing. But just keep 10v10 in mind. Okay. Why is it that 3v3 is so fun? Right? It's not because just the rewards. It's because the rule set makes sense. Right? The issue with WoW isn't really a balance. It's that we don't have enough game modes. It's a lack of game modes. All right. If you didn't see that one coming, good. Let's really think about this. Everyone's first initial reaction is yes, balancing. Okay, cool. But the thought process needs to be changed a little bit. You need to change the thought process. We know how the game is balanced, right? Game is balanced around this thing right here. PvE, boy. It's balanced around PvE. It's balanced around doing these suckers right here. The raids. It's balanced around the numbers. The game is balanced on how much, how fast, how little. It's the HP bars. It's all balanced around the HP bars. So we give abilities, all right, to the classes so that they can affect an HP bar in a different way. Affect your own HP bar. You take less damage. Affect your opponent's HP bar. You do more damage, all right? That's how the game is balanced. It's really that simple. Like, it's not too hard to think about. So then when one class is really good at doing that, well, I mean, then Blizzard decides to nerf it. You know, if it comes to they do too much damage, the boss dies too fast. Fine, I get it. The boss dies too fast. Let's nerf it. Now, how does this link into PvP? Well, it's obvious, right? Like, it's obvious how it links into PvP. The PvP, but just think about why it does, though. Just think about why it does. Okay, so in our game modes for PvP, so look, what we have here, raids, Mythic Plus, this is PvE, raids, Mythic Plus, and then dungeons. That's all we have for PvE. All right, then you have all the other bullshit like doing dailies and whatever. Now for PvP, we already covered what we have. What we need to do is this right here, that 10v10. Change that shit. Change that shit, you save the game. Make that 10v10 a 6v6. Something that people will actually play. And why? Why will people actually play it? Do you actually play 10v10? Do you actually want to get 10 people together? 10 people together so that you can play one game and lose because you never played with them in your life? Okay, maybe you want to play multiple games. Maybe the first game you play, you win. Everyone's dipping anyways, dude. We only want to win the one time. Like, it's too annoying to have to play against other people. Okay, who's the worst person on your team? Not me. It's never me, right? It's never yourself. It's always the other people. So I don't want to have 9 other scrubs. Reduce the number. Make it easier logistically. Then more people will play it. That's just step number 1. But then why is 6v6 the true answer? Okay, that's probably what we're all wondering here. Why 6v6 is the true answer? Now, I may be wrong here, but I think this is a tight-ass idea that we should just give a little bit of attention to. If we can just go on the same boat here for a second. Let's just all travel on the same boat here for a second. We understand now, if we're going on the same boat, we're all on this boat now, not the Titanic over there, that game is balanced around this, PvE. Let's let that slide. Let's let that continue onward. Game is balanced around PvE. Let that be the thing that's going to be done. And then add different rules. So now, why does 6v6 sound like a great rule set? It allows every class's niche to be used. All right? It allows every class's niche to be used. Now, I might be a little biased here, but I'm re-rolling Paladin next expansion. Now, Paladin's niche in BFA high burst, all right? But they're super glass cannony. So they're kind of trash in arena because let me tell you something right now. If you don't know how to beat a paladin in arena, then I'll tell you. CC the burst, make them pop bubble. That's their only defensive. Okay, they have another defensive shield. It's not even a defensive, just pop right through that shit. Make them pop bubble, they have nothing left, then you kill them. All right, they're done. That's the end of it. My paladin right here, this guy, once you pop the bubble, boop, then he dies after. Oh no, paladin is trash. We need to give him more abilities because he can't do the things that other classes can do, right? Right? Okay. But what about in the 6v6 RBG? Like, I get it. Paladins, just pretend. Paladins, let's pretend every class is balanced around PvE the way they should be. All right? Every class is maybe the biggest gap is 10%, so the lowest class is 10% away from the highest class. All right, who gives a shit how much damage you do as long as the boss goes down? That's the entire objective. If the objective is done, then it's good. Oh, but you want to feel good? Then you reroll. All right, you reroll. Now, let's say, because if numbers is a big deal, you reroll. Like, if you want to be the best, you just reroll. You want every class to be the best? That's not possible. Let's not live in fairy tale land. It's not possible. So then how do we make PvP more fun? Well, more rule sets. Right now, the only rule set we have is this, 3v3. 3v3 is modified team deathmatch. It's modified team deathmatch. That's all it is. All right. The big difference between 3v3 and 2v2 is that 2v2 is a joke. 2v2 has it's either healer DPS or double DPS. Like, it doesn't make any sense. 3v3 is constrained. You always have the healer. You always have the two classes that you want to deal to reduce the opponent's HP. All right. Now, some prop paladins are there. Sometimes you have tanks. Most times it's just 2 DPS. All right. Tanks don't die, so it's really nice to have that, but the objective is still to kill, so I think it's more effective if, well, CCs also are very important so when it comes to, you know, taking away your opponent's health. But let's get off all the rambling. We need different objectives. Right now, the only objective we have is take away the health of something, whether it be a raid boss take away the health or your opponent take away the health. All right, but if we have RBGs 6v6, the objective changes from kill the opponent, because that's a goal of yours. If you kill the opponent, then you can get to the objective, which can be either catching a flag, catching minecarts. Those are the two that come out to me because those are great in a 6v6 scenario in my head. You have, just think about this quick ass scenario. You have these are the 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the 5 points of the map. If you have one of every, if you have one, you have 6, or you only have 6 people playing. That means you only have one person defending each flag, at most 2, without losing a person, which means the strategy changes. I'm just saying that the game changes drastically when it's not just take your opponent's HP away, because then classes like Paladin, whose main ability is to actually take away your opponent's HP very quickly, have some use because there's more 1v1s. You see what I'm saying? Like 3v3 is always 3v3. But if you're having RBGs and it's 10 people, then it's usually just a Zerg fest. There's not really that much skill other than macro. But if you want to have macro plus micro, all right? Macro plus micro, which means, like, you know, the overall commander tells where the troops can go, you know, catch that flag, send 2 people there, send 2 people there. Then there's decision making because your flag will always be, there's always a chance that your flag might get hit because you left it alone because you're sending 2 people to fight the 1. Or maybe you bring the Paladin. The Paladin that does nothing, has no defensive, but he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it in this regard because he was going to be able to completely one-shot somebody and take the flag. Or take the minecart, just one-shotting them, pop the wings, that's all he needs to do. He only needs to do it once to get to the objective. God damn, that looks cool. I cannot wait for fucking Shadowlands. He only needs to do it once, okay? One time. Multiple times. You know, my point is that once the objective gets caught, that's it. Right? It's not just dying. Dying is not the only end-all be-all. What does this allow? This allows for uniquenesses of classes to shine right through, all right? To shine right through. You can use tanks in RBGs. You can use, but what about the flaws? Okay, what if someone finds out that, you know, why not bring 4 tanks, 2 healers? Because they'll never die, right? Well, then you'll also never catch a flag because you have to actually stop them from catching the flag, right? Like, okay, why not just bring a bunch of rogues who can continuously sap and blind their opponents so they can easily catch the flag? Because they don't have the best self-healing. Like, they do have self-healing, but they can't constantly be in combat. Like, their defensives are only good as they are there. Like, their passive defensives aren't that good. Right now, what everyone wants is for Paladin to be a rogue, right? Like, Paladin is a Paladin. Let the Paladin be what he is. Don't change the uniquenesses of a class just because another class has something that you can't do. The reason that people want this to happen is because their class can't do the thing that they wanted to be able to do in the allowed game modes. We only have, we only have 2 different game modes, and they're the same thing. PvE game mode, take the health away from the boss. PvP game mode, take the health away from your opponent. Let's add some objectives. The reason that raids are so fun is because I have to do a lot of this. Oh no, there's a thing over here. Oops, move this way. There's a thing over there. Oops, move this way. It's not just take away the HP. It's take away the HP while avoiding things. Now in PvP, that's the same thing. Take away the HP while having better mechanics than your opponent, all right? But the end result is still the same. Take away the HP. Now, if we add objectives, then classes that have powers like being able to see a long distance, classes like druids that can just move fast constantly, classes like demon hunters that don't take fall damage, that can glide, that can traverse the map very quickly, classes like priests, shamans, and hunters who have better vision, like mind's eye vision, like mind vision to be able to see your opponent what they can see, like sentry totem that they had at one point, but I think they removed from the game. All of these things. The reason everyone wants to be like a rogue is because rogue can affect the numbers of every single aspect of the game. They have movement speed increase for themselves. They have movement speed decrease on their opponents. They have cast time decrease. I think the one thing they're missing is damage reduction onto their opponent. Like their opponent does less damage when they hit them. I think that's the only thing they don't have. That's the only thing, because they have CCs for days. They have stun, silence, blind, incapacitates. Like they have everything. They're missing different types of CCs, but they have every type of CC. You know what I mean? Like they don't have fear and whatnot, but they have a thing like that. All right. So instead of making every class a rogue, my idea is branch out what the classes are able to do. If every class is able to feel like they're able to do something, all right, like, oh, I may be not the best at raids, but my class is super viable in RBGs, or I like the class is really good. And if every class can have that thing, you know what I mean, then because what's going to end up happening is if you want to be the best, you're going to re-roll to what the best thing is, right? So if every class has that thing, I'm not saying that every class is going to have that thing, but if there's more game modes so that I'm not just stuck here having to either be a garbage ass PvEer, or I can literally not do 3v3 and I can only do 2v2. And by the way, the reason 2v2 is ass is because the rewards are ass. Like, and also it's because it's not really competitive, but it could be at least fun. Like, make it cosmetic. Like 2v2 is fun. It's just not competitive. If you want real competition, 10v10 is very competitive. I'll give it that. I'll give it that. It's just that it's a failure because it's too hard to get 10 people to fight other people. Like, you have to be coordinated in PvP. You can't just fuck around. Like, that's not something that you can do. You have to be coordinated. So 6v6 just makes more sense. It's easy for people to understand. If you wanted it to be an esport, I can understand capturing a flag much easier than I can understand how it is that these 3 people are taking away the health of these 3 people. Now, I'm watching the arenas, all right? I'm watching the world, the NA Cup. And they make it fairly simple for you to understand. They have the cooldowns right under, like once you see the cooldowns go away, there's a lot happening, and there's always 3 people fighting 3 people. In RBG, there's going to be a lot more 1v1s and a lot more 2v2s. People love 1v1s. People love dueling. People like 2v2s because it's awesome. It's awesome because it's easier to see and understand, all right? It's only 2 classes. 1 class is the best because it's really easy to understand 1 class. 2, easier than 3, all right? But 3v3 is very complicated. You need to know what's going on in 3v3, which is why it's okay to have, boop, the 3v3 right here. Now, this is 6v6. But it's not 6v6 because it's not just going to be a Zerg fest. There's objectives that need to be captured, and they're all across the map. Right? They're all across the map. So it's a different type of gameplay. If we just add 6v6 into the game, I really do believe that we could be saving a lot, because then people won't be worried about, oh, my class can't do this as well as they can do it, or my class can't do that. That's not what's going to be important. Every class is going to have their niche. Every class, the strategies can change. There's 11 classes, man. Your strategies can change depending on who you're fighting and what the classes that you're bringing into the maps. Like, we can have 3 rotating maps in a 6v6, so you have to be prepared for all 3 maps at any time. So it could be Arathi Basin, You could have flag captures, but flag capture becomes, and when I say flag capture, I mean like Warsong Gulch. Flag capture in Warsong Gulch becomes very, very like cancerous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really don't like that too much because it becomes Zerg at the end of the day. I mean, but with a 6v6, you see, with a 6v6, it becomes a lot less Zergy. 6v6 is a very good number, and the reason I'm bringing up 6v6 is because, guys, Blizzard is so good at stealing ideas. Like, they already have Overwatch, they already have HOTS. Dude, what's easier than stealing your own idea? Like, why are we allowing this dead system of 10v10 in the game that does nothing? It doesn't help the game at all. We're balancing the game around raids and 3v3. That's the big thing. But imagine balancing the game around raids, 3v3, and 6v6. That's amazing because, first off, to queue into 6v6, it just requires 2 teams of 3v3 to queue together. There goes the queuing problem. There goes the queuing problem. It's that simple. Also, 6v6 makes every single class's uniquenesses stand out. All right, I'm just summarizing why this is a tight idea. All right, there will always be a meta, but the more game modes there are, the less that really matters. Like, the game mode isn't just 1v1. Like in Smash Brothers, it's only 1v1 unless you're playing 2v2, and then characters become a lot better and a lot worse, right? So in 3v3, some classes are going to be a lot better. That's just the way it is. The rewards, people think the rewards go with the viability of the action, I suppose. So raids makes sense, you get the best rewards because you have to group up. That's hard. You have to speak coordinated. You have to know the mechanics. 3v3 makes sense. You have to be grouped up with 2 other people, but you have to play against other people, which is very difficult. Much harder than any boss will ever be. Playing against me, way harder than playing against a boss because I will stomp you. You will not learn my mechanics. You might learn what my class does, but my mechanics are better than your mechanics. It's just my teammates' mechanics that need some help. But my point is, that in a 6v6, it's a lot easier to get the people grouped up. That's number one. More people will play because it's easier to configure. All right, that's why this LFG, looking for raid. That's why this LFR. There could be LFP if you want, looking for like partner or some shit in PvP. We already have that. It's pre-made. It's called quick match. You can do quick match 6v6 RBGs if you want. I don't think so. I think RBGs should be rated only. It's just that people want to have fun. So like the quick one is random battlegrounds. It's already there. Like there's your LFR. But now if you want to have some competition, you can make it 5v5. I just think 6v6 is better because I don't want to change the maps. Like, I'm thinking about how to make this as easy as possible for Blizzard. You know what I mean? Like I don't want them to have to take away a point from AB, have a completely different map. That's not necessary. That's not necessary. Let's just add rule sets to what we already have. I truly believe that a 6v6 rule set will help out the game far more than having a 10v10 dead rule set. Dead. Useless joke of a rule set. Like, who plays this? No one. I know that for a fact. I'll never play this. Only play it for the rewards. The rewards are too hard to get, and they're garbage. All right, so let's change that to 6v6. Let's understand that balancing is around PvE. Once we get that, once we understand that we're all dragon slayers, all right, we're all on the same team dragon slaying. Like, don't put PvP power. Don't take out scaling. Please take out scaling. That is ruining PvP too. But the point of the video is not scaling. The point of the video is add more rule sets. 6v6 is just one of many. I'm not saying you can't have 4v4s, right? Like, these are all awesome, I think. Like, all the way up to 6, even 7, my friend was telling me that 7 could be a good idea. It's just that the lower you have, the better, but let's change. Forget about the number of people. On to the point. Let's change what the objective is. Let's stop only having game modes where the objective is take away the HP of something, and let's have rated objectives where it's not just that, where it's either capturing a flag, capturing a point, standing on top of something, collecting of something. It has to be something that can make your character shine in ways that it wouldn't be able to shine if it was just dealing damage. All right, because if you're just dealing damage, you can't use your specific utilities. All right, CCs do matter when dealing damage because, of course, if you can stop damage, that's important. But how fast you can kill your opponent, how slow you can die, how fast you can move, how far you can see, add a fog of war. All of these things are super relevant when it comes to not just killing your opponent, all right? Because if the only objective is team deathmatch, then all that matters is how much damage can I do. That's the only thing that matters. But if the objective becomes, well, your opponent is just stopping you, you can kill him, you can, but that's not the objective. The objective is X. Every class's niche becomes more prominent. We can start building around, oh, well, that paladin, we just need to give him one other person to help him. Actually, that paladin is very self-sufficient when it comes to 1v1 duels. Paladin's niche is 1v1s. Druid's niche is 1v1s. In arenas, feral druids, joke. Balance, joke. Why pick those classes over the best class that can do the best damage with the best CC? Why pick balance over mage? There are specific reasons. Sometimes. In general, most druids get completely stomped by warlock mage. Why would you not pick warlock mage? Why? Oh, I know why. It's because you're picking, instead of the warlock or the mage, you're picking a monk. That's why. Or a rogue. That's why. It's because you're picking the best classes for what it is, which is dealing damage. I'm not getting mad at you for doing that. You should do that. The issue is that that's all you can do. There's no 6v6 RBGs. Blizzard, please look. Guys, I think this is a great idea. If you agree with me, hit like, share the idea of 6v6 arenas. Like, I don't know how to get this out to Blizzard. I just thought it was a great idea. My entire channel is going to be about just me spouting out ideas, not even about just WoW, but about everything. But for right now, this I feel is a great idea. Let's get on it. Like, I mean, I hope you enjoy the video. You know, leave a comment what you think. Maybe you think the idea is trash. Let's work on the idea though, because I truly believe that if we just concentrate on balancing only around the health of something, that's going to, it's not going to lead to the growth of the game. Like, why is FF14 like better than WoW? Like, I don't understand why FF14 has more players than WoW. I do. It's because it focuses on one thing and it focuses and does it well. But guess what? I truly believe that WoW has better mechanical gameplay. I've never played FF14, so I can't tell you the truth. But when I play WoW, it feels amazing. Everything is intuitive. The gameplay is awesome. All right, it just feels so good. The thing that sometimes is lacking from it would be reward structure and game rule sets. Right? Get the reward structures in first, that will make people want to try out the game rule set. All right, so give RBGs a higher reward so people can actually want to play the goddamn thing. If you don't want to change for 10v10. But do change it for 10v10, make a 6v6 rule set, make a 5v5 rule set, make a 7v7 rule set, RBGs. You don't have to change anything. Just change the rules. The map is so you don't have to add anything to the game. You don't have to do anything extra. All you have to do is change the rules. How do you change the rules? You just add it, bro. Like, I'm not a game designer, but how do you make 3v3? You just allow an extra character to be instanced in. You put a little timer that to allow for dampening. Like, that's the only rules, man. Like, at 5 minutes, every 1% of healing will go down. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, only one healer. Or, I mean, have to have one healer. Those are the rules. You have to have a healer. You have to have 3 people if you want to win, at least. If you don't have to. The rule is you have to have one healer and there will be dampening. Those are the rules. Simple, clean. Do the exact same thing for RBGs. We'll all be happy. Simple, clean. And if you do it for RBGs, I'm not saying that RBGs specifically is saving the game. All right. I'm saying more game modes, more variety, allowing different classes to be good and unique at the things that they are good and unique at. Then people have less to complain about. People don't want to change the fact that paladins can only do that one thing that they can do, which is pop wings and then pop fucking bubble and one-shot somebody without getting hurt. People won't get mad that they can do that and one-shot you because, I mean, that's their niche. Like, how can you get mad at someone's niche? Are you just gonna stay mad at rogues all day because they can do everything you can't? Constantly 20-second stun. Paladins have 1 minute stun. Oh, let's give paladins a kidney. No, stop giving every class what every other class has. Let classes be unique. Let classes be unique. That's the end of the video. Have a great day, you guys.